Welcome to Find It, our special time, 7 p.m. Why am I having it at 7 p.m. instead of 8? Well, anyone who knows that Dr. Brian Cohen wakes up at 3 a.m. So he needs to get his beauty sleep. So we bumped it up an hour so he can be in bed at a decent hour so he can do surgeries like the amazing man that he is. So we are here tonight with Brian Cohen. He is an orthopedic surgeon. He is an amazing man. He is an inspiration to me. I watch what he does in our community. He has so much compassion. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm just so happy to have him here. And he's going to tell us what he has going on. So hang tight. He'll be right back with us after his intro. Let's go. Oh my goodness. He is with us again, a second timer on the Find It show.
How many people have repeated?
One other person has repeated. Oh no, Tori repeat. My daughter repeated. Yeah.
On Mindy's show, they call it, when they win, they call it the 2-peat and the 3-peat. When they win that,
you're a 2-peat.
Yeah, I'm a 2-peater.
A 2-peat. But you know what? I'm so happy that you're here because there's so many people wanting to understand what all is going on. We've had, you've been in the news, you've been on the radio, you've been all over the place. And I just wanted to bring you, a dear friend, on to talk more just casually about what you do have going on. But for the people who are watching this and for future people on replay, they may not really know who you are. So why don't you give us a little Cliff Note version of your background and how the heck you got to Ohio?
Okay. First, I want to make a correction. I woke up today at 3:15 and I woke up late. I don't know how many people wake up late and it's 3:15 in the morning. So but I did. I still got the workout in, but I was late this morning. I've been in Ohio now for going into my 23rd year. I moved from Chicago, where I did my sports fellowship in sports medicine at Rausch, and started at Adina in September of 2000.
Yeah.
So I've lived in Ohio probably longer than I've lived definitely longer than I've lived any one place in my lifetime. So I really call it home. So, when people would ask me, like you just did, how did I end up in Ohio? I tell them witness protection.
Yeah, we can hide you in these hills.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna have to disclose my identity soon. So
that's so funny.
But I mean, you know me well enough that I don't do things that aren't important to me or passionate for me. I'm one person that it goes back to when I was young, that if I didn't want to do something, I wasn't doing it, and I wouldn't still be practicing orthopedics in Ohio and living here if I didn't love what I was doing and where I was doing it.
That's so, I believe you. I know that about you. But so many people who aren't from Ohio, and especially the South Central region of Ohio, we get a lot of people from other places that come in and they're not here long and they take off. So you're rare. And I just really wondered what it was about this community in particular that kind of got their hooks in you.
Probably because I met your husband and you guys within my first couple of weeks here.
That's so true. David met you right away.
Yeah. And I was in the office today with Jeff Metzler, and he was talking about when my dad kind of revealed to everybody that I wasn't from New York City, but the New York area. So Jeff got a kick out of that. But, I think, I just finding people that you can relate to, great friendships that have lasted for 20 plus years. Yeah. And I mean, geez, who would have known I would have picked the best state in the country to live in for weather? I mean, geez.
Oh, I know.
The winter was amazing. We don't see the floods that they see in other places.
Well, that's true.
The tornadoes, the fires. So, I mean, it's almost like the San Diego of the Midwest.
That is really true. I thought you were making a joke, but you know what? That's true.
I'm serious.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Let's get it for the OHIO people.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, so, and I know I've heard you say before that when you came into this area, you knew and you saw a need, a
Right.
definite need, and you filled the need, and you expanded and you grew. And I was there for the groundbreaking. Our family and friends were there for the groundbreaking of the first facility that you basically built, with your team. Let's give
Right.
credit where credit's due. But I mean, when I know one thing about you is when you set your mind to something and you're passionate about it because you feel it, you make it happen. And so then, and then you were on the project for the huge addition at Adina, but you're not with Adina any longer. You're with who?
So yeah, I mean, first going back to your first point, I mean, passion is something that I think you're just born with. When you can identify with something and kind of feel it in your heart and your soul when you're doing it, and then kind of like your show. I mean, this is something that you have talked about in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form for probably 10+ years that I know you.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that and then to put everything into it and then to see the results of it is it's just rewarding. But also when you know that you're helping other people with what drives you, it makes it even that much more rewarding. So, at the end of the day, the need, especially in orthopedics, obviously Southern Ohio is an area of need for all healthcare. I'm just an orthopedic surgeon, so that's what I gravitated to. But I always told people, that would come and visit when on their interview, I said, if you're passionate about what you do and you do a good job, I said the business is going to be here because there's just not enough providers in Southern Ohio to take care of the population. And unfortunately, we live in an area that, has some significant health issues, whether it's chronic stuff or even, we have a lot of kids that play sports and adults that play sports, and they run the risk of injury. So there's a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, there was need, and I started it with the guy I did my fellowship with, Dr. Mike D'Amato, and we started in September 2000, and he left in 2004, and then I grew it from there with the help of everybody involved, to 30+ providers.
Yeah.
So
That's so crazy, crazy good stuff. And am I correct in saying that? I mean, I know this. You are probably one of the of all surgeons, orthopedic especially. You've done 30,000 plus surgeries. Am I right?
yes.
That puts you probably in the upper echelon of that, right?
Well, so one of the things that we tried to do early on, and I'd say this goes back to 2005, is try to get each provider to practice at the top of what we call top of their license. So really focus on what they do best, both what they're most interested in, but what they trained in, and where they want to put their passion. And the way that we did that is we hired doctors, not only that do hand surgery or foot and ankle surgery or spine surgery, but then we focused on doctors who just see patients in the office and focus on the non-operative treatment so that there would always be access. One of the most important things to take care of people is you have to see them. So if you have somebody who calls your office and says, I hurt my arm, I need to see a doctor, and you say, well, the next available is 2 months or 2 weeks or 2 days, sometimes that may be too long for them. So improving access by having doctors that are in the office basically 5 days a week, doing what they do best, maximizing the best care possible for non-operative treatment, only really kind of streamlined all the surgical patients to the different surgical subspecialties. So being able to see less patients that don't need surgical care and seeing more patients that need surgical care just really focused my energies on the operative side of orthopedics. And that's why, when you're in an area that's underserved and there's a lot of people that need treatment, you can hit numbers like we did. And it's really not about the number. It's more about all the patients we were able to treat and get back to their recovery in a timely fashion. There was never a time in my career where you would have to wait a month or two for surgery. If you needed something, it really was when your insurance said you were okay to have the surgery from their perspective, but really when the patient felt like they were ready for the surgery, and then we were available.
Well, the other part of this, going back to what you said, and when you first arrived here and you were practicing, you didn't have non-op docs available at that time.
Correct.
So you were trying to do it all
Correct.
And I love that you also saw that there was a need. And you also know, let's just laugh about this because anyone from Southern Ohio knows if you go to the doctor, you want to sit and have a good talk. You got to talk about the family. You want to talk about what you ate for breakfast. And, when you're a surgeon and you don't have help of non-op docs and, I've got a surgery I got to go to, like I can't, you know what I mean? So you want to know these people. They're your patients and you care for them so much. But when you were spread so thin, so that was very intelligent, very smart of you to say, I want not only for them to be able to call in and be able to see another doctor because I'm in surgery, I can't see you, but also to be able to spend more time with each patient, which is huge, especially in this geographical area. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and I've changed, my understanding of that over the years. I agree 100% when you're trying to be everything to everyone. You definitely get spread thin, and people think that people take it as you don't care, but it's really
Yeah,
not that you don't care. You want to make sure you get to everybody that needs help.
that's right.
So it's really not a not caring. It's more of of over caring for everybody.
Oh, I know. And you're one of the most, and that's okay. So if you were to, this is kind of a segue to a question I have for you, because I know how compassionate and sensitive you are to people's feelings. Like that's who you are. And I think that would surprise people that because you're, when you're on the work, I mean, I want a surgeon that's like in it, like this is what we're doing, um, but what is something you can share with this audience that would surprise them about you?
I hope that nobody is surprised by anything in the sense that I want people it goes back to the caring part. I don't think people really understand how much I care about what I do and
Mhm.
that everybody has the best experience and that, not only do I do the best job that I can, but the people that I work with are doing the best job that they can. And, I mean, I love one of the reasons why I love working where I do is not only are the patients great. But the people I work with are, some of the most special people in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
the stuff that they do, not only for each other, but for patients. I mean,
Hmm.
it's above and beyond anything I've seen or expected.
Well, you know what, Brian? I want you to know that they feel the same way about you. Lynn?
Dr. Cohen, thank you for all you do for us, our family, and our community. I am so grateful to be a part of your team, and we support you no matter what.
I feel
I
like
mean,
this is your life.
this is your life.
You don't have my
Yeah,
mom
but
on here, Debbie, do you?
no, Adrian's not here.
Yeah.
Sue Schultz says, put that back up. Hi, Debbie and Dr. Cohen. We are both watching. Dave is giving up this hour of Family Feud, and I'm thrilled. Awesome. So we've
Well,
got Sheila Benson. Team Cohen is the best. Thanks for watching, Sheila.
yeah,
You
I
get
saw
brownie points for that.
I saw your aunt and uncle today in the office, and I said, "Hey, make sure you tune in."
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. I need to recruit you to get people watching the show. But yeah, so surprising
Let me
meaning.
just let's. I mean, so you just had Erica on. I mean, Erica is one of those people that is a diehard. I mean, she's a nurse. She loves her job. She's one of the best nurses I've worked with in the 20 years. And one of those people that, I mean, she has children. She has, a family to take care of. But she's one of those people that, if we need to stay late, she'll be there. If she needs to come in early, she'll be there. If I call her on a weekend and say, hey, this patient has an issue, can you do this XYZ? It gets done. I mean, it's
Mm.
and that's how everybody I work with is. You don't ask twice. You just say, I have this issue, and they step up, and it's an amazing thing, and it makes working that much more enjoyable.
Oh yeah. When you have a good team around you and you're a great leader too. So that shines through when people feel appreciated. They're going to go the extra mile. I really believe that. Um, what are some things that I mean, everyone's watching because they want to get extra details on what you actually have going on right now. Now, I did ask you earlier and you didn't answer the question. So I'm going to ask it one more time before we move on. You are not at Adina any longer. You are now with,
So I am employed by Ohio Health.
okay.
So, yeah.
And moving forward, it's going to be Ohio Health. And when you have your new facility
Yes.
that you're working on right now that will open in 2024.
The end of 2024 is our goal.
Okay. It'll be called Cohen Orthopedics.
I wish.
But
that's a great name.
That is a great name. But for everyone watching, if you see the ticker along the bottom, if you want to visit Dr. Cohen's website, you see it's just cohenorthopedic.com. It's on the ticker. You can visit that website, and is on that website people able to then also find out how to contact you?
Yeah, so that website will not only have information about what we do, what I focus on, where I can see you, how you can get in touch with me, but it also, if you email me, it comes to me. So if you email me through the link there, it'll come directly to my phone. And, I get a lot of questions and stuff. And, it's just like if I get a phone call in the office, if it's something that I can take care of, I'll handle it. If it's something that needs to be taken care of by somebody else, I'll handle it, but it'll be taken care of.
I feel like you're like the old school kind of doctors too. Back in the day when they made house calls and stuff like that. I mean, it's not like you're going to go make house calls, but you're pretty darn close to it. I feel like if I were to ever need you for anything or for a family member, we just did that with my Uncle David.
Yeah.
And give you a call and you're like, well, let's get him, scheduled. Let's get him in here.
No, I make house calls. I've been out to Zanesville on a Sunday. I've been just in places that I've never, where the GPS doesn't work and you just, I'm looking at the stars to figure out where I'm going. And it's just, it's really those situations that, it's a Saturday or it's a Sunday, the office isn't open till Monday. You don't want the patient to have to go to the ER and get stuck, for something that is not really need to be treated in the ER. They just need, their doctor, so, yeah, I mean, it's just, I've made a lot of house calls in my career, and it hasn't changed since I've moved a lot of my practice into the Columbus market.
Right. Yeah. So are you going to be full time in 2024, going into 2025 at the new facility? Or are you going to still work both?
So going back to your original question, the new facility will be called Great Seal.
Okay.
So the group of doctors are joining together to form a private group called Great Seal. So
nice.
We're going to exit our employment with Ohio Health and go private practice. And then we'll have most of our business will be in the Chillicothe market. But, we still believe that in order to treat people effectively, you need to be close to where they are. So we'll have satellite offices in Washington Courthouse, in Waverly.
Oh, good.
In Southern Columbus. So the Grove City office will keep.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really good. And, I got to say too, folks, you're a surgeon, but you are a savvy businessman. You really are. I mean, you from being, doing surgeries, that's huge, but you're also always seeing where there's a need, fixing, building the team, office stuff, how you can grow. I mean, I know when you came to town, we needed people in Hillsborough. We needed people in Courthouse. We needed people in all, these different Waverly and, all these different areas. And you came in and you made sure that those people were taken care of. And I'm serious, people. This is the truth. Like, this is like not just because I love the guy. This is part of the reason why I love the guy. Because he has so much integrity, and he's a savvy businessman. He knew, for the greater good of everybody, you made really smart business moves. Bob Donnell, congrats on all your success. Thanks for watching, Bob. He's a great guy too, Bob. Yeah. But so it's going to be called Great Seal, which is amazing.
Yep.
And it's just right outside the city limits.
Correct.
That's right. But before we start showing pictures, Lynn, can you pop up something again for me? Oh, well, okay. So she's going to show this. Now, Brian, we're looking at your land right now.
Yes.
Talk about it.
This is a drone video looking out on what will soon be, the Great Seal Medical and Sports Complex. The goal is to have a facility that is a destination for healthcare, focused on patient safety, focused on patient satisfaction, focused on employee satisfaction, and we want high quality outcomes. So our partner on the ASC, or the Ambulatory Surgery Center, is Value Health. And what Value Health brings to the table is basically they have all these best in practice patient pathways. So for total knees, this is how we do it all the time. For total hips, this is how we do it all the time. For cardiology, this is how we do it all the time. For bariatric surgery, this is how we do it all the time. So they have very well researched protocols that they, with documentation. I think it was told there's like 196 points of measurement that they do throughout these steps through your pathway from coming to the office, your diagnosis, and then most people don't need surgery, so you go a different path, but it's still focused on this type of quality care. The other thing that they do is they focus on what we call value-based care. So high value care for lower cost.
Okay, cool.
So,
but when you go, your facility is going to be all inside. So meaning a patient can come, they can see the doctor, they get their surgery, all of it is right there all on that same campus.
Yeah. So the facility, we haven't finished out the programming, but it's going to be probably close to 75,000 square feet. When it's all said and done, and it'll have an urgent care, it'll have a imaging center, so CT, MRI, it'll have occupational health, it'll have physical therapy, it'll have the office space to see the doctors, and it's not just going to be Great Seal doctors. We have other doctors that are asking for space in the building already, and then it'll have the operating rooms, and once again, the focus is patient safety. One of the biggest concerns about surgery, one of the biggest concerns is a surgical site infection. Mm-hmm. So what are we going to do that nobody else does in the state right now to prevent that? Well, we'll be implementing what are called the Clean Cube operating rooms. The Clean Cube operating rooms are operating rooms designed to specifically focused around decreasing the risk of infection. So dry hydrogen peroxide in the room while people are in there, that kills bacteria, kills mold, kills viruses. It also has been studied to show that in a working environment, less employee sick days; in a college environment, less school days missed; in locker rooms in Major League Baseball, less risk of MRSA that people get from the field, from the soil. And then it'll have the vaporized hydrogen peroxide, which we can clear the room and kill anything in the room. So if you have a patient who had an infection, you want to make sure that the room is as clean as it can be. You just seal it, and within an hour, it's as clean as it can be. So all these things are focused on the patient. The building will be protected by dry hydrogen peroxide. So anybody who comes to the facility, I have those units in my home, and my kids who are young and used to be missing school because they got the daycare cold or something, aren't having that experience anymore. So it really works.
Really neat. Yeah, I actually knew, I looked into that a little bit because I knew that you were implementing that, and I didn't understand what it was. So, but thanks for explaining it like that. Now the campus, so you have all of this, so patient safety, recovery, you get to see the doctor, you get the surgery, you get recovery, all of these doctor's appointments back there. It's this campus, but your vision for this is not just having, which is already a lot, having this facility with all of these patient care opportunities, but also what else is going to eventually be on this campus.
Yeah. So, part of this was always, what can we do as a group to give back to the community? And, being a orthopedic group that focuses on sports in general, it made sense to, is there something that we can deliver that would improve the health of the community, but also improve access for our young athletes who want to do different sports. So it started out as, I'm good friends with Brian Wickline, who works with the Paints, and he's been talking about wanting a new stadium. And,
so for those who aren't aware, the Paints is a baseball league.
Yeah.
called the Paints.
Yeah, it's the Prospect League. It's a wood bat college baseball league, and they play about 30 home games a year. This is their 30th year in Chillicothe.
Yeah.
They normally play out at the VA Stadium, but the VA Stadium is landlocked for them, and Brian has to turn away other high school tournaments that want to, so other opportunities for, young, either club sports or high school sports or college sports that want to come and play in a stadium atmosphere, just because there's just limited dates. So working with him, we came up with a plan to build on the land a 2,500 hard seat stadium. And our goal is to have the stadium basically sunken into the ground so that the outfield will be grass hills that people could sit on while they watch the games.
Oh, that's fun.
So yeah, the vision's amazing. It's and I'm glad that that we're able to work together. Brian and I have been friends for a while, and we've talked about this probably for the last 10 plus years, just about doing something. Originally it was just, okay, how do we find a place for the Paints? And then
and I was on that board to help for a while, and I was like, Brian, like the Bryans need to figure this out. But what else? So I'm going to put the picture up, and for those that are watching, it's going to completely take up the screen, but you're still going to be able to hear Brian explain.
Okay, so this is an early rendering of what we think the area could look like. So you're looking at basically a 47-acre plot. Right now it's farmland, and it sits right on 23. It's on River Road between the 207 and the 159 interchange. If you go to the north, and I don't have a pointer that'll show you, but there's a white long building at the top outside our land. That's the Kenworth warehouse. So that's the property north of ours. And then when you come down, you start to see the yellow buildings. What's going to be on this campus is not only the fields, but also a community center. The community center, our goal would be to house not only fitness areas, but also sport courts. So 8 to 10 basketball courts so that they could do tournaments. They could convert these courts to volleyball courts. They can convert these courts to indoor soccer, indoor lacrosse. And then you could also use that space, because it's really a big open gym space. You could use it for flea markets or event gathering. So that's the yellow structures. The yellow structures are on the back end of what will be the new stadium for the Chillicothe Paints. As we said, it was a 2,500 seat, hard seat stadium with concessions and stuff. And if you could just imagine, it's a spring, it's June, July, and you're driving south on 23 and you come over the hill after 207 and you're looking at these lights from the stadium and there's a game going on, you just want to get off and get over there. To the left, you see these 4 ball fields. They look like baseball fields. These will be, there'll be multi-use fields. So there'll be a turf field that'll have lines for softball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, and any other outdoor sport I think that's popular at the time. But we'll have 4 of those, and obviously there'll be facilities for all these. There'll be concessions for all these. There'll be parking for all of these. In the middle is where the healthcare campus will be. It'll have the ASC and the medical office building, which will be one structure. And then the future hopes to be a hospital with an ER down the road. And then in that bottom corner on the right, it will be what I call the hospitality aspect of it, a hotel with a restaurant and other retail that fits kind of what we're trying to do here. And that's basically to create a place where people could come, whether it's, to relax and watch a game, to participate in a tournament or a club sport, or even a high school, championship game. And then if they're from out of town, they have a place to stay. Also in the hotel will be what we call stay suites, which are rooms that can be converted to hospital rooms. So for patients who don't need to be in a hospital, but may not be ready to go home, they have a place that they'll be monitored overnight and can basically recover in a safe environment. But they may have 2 flights of stairs to get into their house, but they haven't had enough therapy. And this all goes back to the value-based care where everything's going to be bundled. So if people are paying attention to what's going on in healthcare, they're moving a lot of the surgeries out of the hospital into these ambulatory surgery centers for a lot of reasons. One being there's no reason to have healthy people in or near rooms where people are sick. And COVID, I think taught us that the best, that you have people in the hospital that may not need to be in a hospital. So if somebody is healthy enough and they're having their total knee or their total hip or their total shoulder, they could have it done in an outpatient center and basically recover at home.
Yeah.
If they need a place to be monitored overnight, we'll have it.
Yeah. To have that right there, that's incredible. And, you know, I was thinking the buildings that will be open areas that you can use for whatever. Oh my gosh, it would be an amazing farmer's market. Like
Yeah.
to be able to house that, to really have a place. I mean, we have farmers markets,
Right.
but you know, all winter, I know our schools were being like the one on the east side was used, the gym was being rented out for farmers market on the weekends. But if there would be a place that our farmers could know that there's always a place that's large enough and accessible and easy in and out, that'd be really cool.
Good idea.
But Lynn, let's show
Hey,
Brian.
Dr. Cohen, I just want to say thank you for everything. Wouldn't have the job I'm in now if it wasn't for you. Appreciate everything you do. We can't wait to move forward with you. And you know, if you ever need anything, phone call away.
Aw.
So Cheyenne is another one of those people that you just call up and, you know, she'll just, whatever she's doing, she'll do it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you thank you so much for letting me be part of this Team Cohen. I'm having a wonderful time learning from you, being part of this amazing team. And I want to tell you thank you so much for letting me learn from you, be with you, and I can't wait for this next chapter. It's so exciting. Thank you.
And that's Mary. What?
Everybody, like Paige, I was talking to Paige. I'm like, you know, I'd like to get a video or two. And she's like, yeah, everybody will want to.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Dr. Cohen for everything that he's given us and all the opportunities that he's given us here in Ross County. I'm excited for all the new adventures in the near coming future with the new building and everything. And I also want to thank you for always having my back all through my career. And just want to say thanks for everything you've done for us.
I love this so much.
Yeah. So Stephen is our X-ray tech, and before that was Mary. I mean, like I said, I mean, you know, Stephen and I, because Stephen used to do our X-ray years ago, and you know, you just get to know these people, and you know, I mean,
you're a loyal guy. You're a loyal friend.
What I've said to anybody and everybody who has been interested in, you know, what we're doing, I said, you are not going to find a better workforce of dedicated people, whether it's, you know, Stephen who's taking the x-rays, whether it's Cheyenne who's putting on your brace, whether it's, you know.
Hey, Dr. Cohen, I wanted to say thank you for everything that you do for our patients and our staff. You're truly amazing. Love the work that you do, and you're not just a friend, a coworker, you're also family, and love being a part of this family. Thank you again, Dr. Cohen.
Yeah.
So who inspires you in your life and that would be, let's have you say who has inspired you in your life professionally and who has inspired you in your life personally?
Well, I think, you know, professionally, the one thing that I remember is when I was training that I used to sit in, you know, these different doctors' offices that I was working with, you know, specifically in hand surgery was Dr. Hausman. And every patient that walked in, every patient, I mean, this is like no joke. You are the best. And they're talking to Dr. Hausman, not to me. You know, you're the best hand surgeon. And he was he had a very eclectic personality. So a lot of people just didn't understand him, but his patients did. And that's a true testament to who he is, because he really is eclectic and has, you know, he rides his bicycle to school in New York, to work in New York City.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and he's in his suit. You know? Yeah. So,
I just got that visual. That's hilarious.
So I think I learned more through osmosis than direct understanding. Just, you know, if you take care of people and you'll get those same reactions, you know, and I'm sure every doctor gets that in some way, shape, or form. But, with this project and just throughout my career, I've just been very fortunate to hear some of that feedback from my patients that I heard when I was, working as a resident in New York. So I don't know if that's more inspiration or just more of, something that I recognize that I wanted to achieve. And it's really just to, I want people to just understand that I'm there to take care of them. There's no other reason for me to be there. I mean, and believe me, I've had every opportunity that if I wanted to leave Ohio, whether it was in 2004 when Dr. D'Amato left, or, in 2015 when things got a little bit rocky, or in, recently when things changed, it would have been very easy just to say, it's time to move on. But, this is, they've been saying I was going to leave when I got here.
Yeah.
So it's my home now. So I ain't going
Hi,
anywhere.
Dr. Cohen. I just kind of want to take this time out, to tell you how much you are appreciated. Everything that you do for our patients, even our staff, myself included. You are very, very wonderful and well loved.
Telling you.
Yeah.
And the community too, not just your staff, but I've heard a lot of positive. I mean, there are people piping in right now talking about, thanks, what a great, team, amazing. Look, Team Cohen, let's go. How amazing to have all of the team members show their never-ending support. Wonderful. But in addition, Brian, you are an incredible man with an incredible team. Thank you for always giving back to our community. We are truly blessed. You're a blessing to so many. That was from Sean Benson. Just people know that there's so much. I just want to say this, and I know you probably don't want me to, but I'm going to say it anyway. So the thing is,
Okay.
that for everyone listening, Brian has done a lot of things without getting named or credit for it. Like there's a lot of things that, people just say and announce, like you do drug kits for the Keys to Success program. That's coming up soon. You make sure that our program is able to run smoothly because we're not having to pay for those out of pocket. But there's so many other things that you've done that no one knows about. And then like 2 years later, I find out something and I'm like, Dr. Cohen did that? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So what happens, you see, is the seeds that you've planted and the people that you've blessed throughout your career and your time of living in Ohio, they don't forget. They don't forget the things that you do for them and the times you've been there for them. And so when times get rough, I'm so glad you didn't give up on us and leave, because there's more people than not who appreciate the person that you are and the things that you've done for our community. And so I just had to say that. And I love you for being who you are. So we are kind of running out of time. So Lynn, go ahead and pop up another one.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in part of Cohen Clinic, and I'm looking forward to being a part of the new building. And thank you for being so successful and putting patients first, and us as employees too. Thank you.
And before we show the last video, I want to ask you though, personally, I think I know who has been your biggest inspiration in your life. And when you say biggest, I mean, because we've had a lot of people touch our lives and change us for the better in a positive way. But who is in your lifetime probably your biggest inspiration personally?
I mean, I think my parents.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. Adrian and Harvey, they're the best. Oh, you are amazing. We love you. And I'm so glad you're on here. And I don't know if anyone has asked any questions about, I do have, I know that a lady had, it was Mindy Martin. She sent me a message not very long ago about, is there going to be an indoor pool? Because we would love to be able to do our exercises. And I know that's a huge expense. So,
and I don't think I'm talking out of turn. We are talking with the YMCA to see if the community center would be something that they would want to be a YMCA. So at the end of the day, the only thing I care about everything about the project, but I am not, I can't tell you what the community actually needs for each part of the project. Gotcha. And people have, since the announcement, people have reached out to me, with ideas and stuff. And Some people I've already spoken to. We're talking about a veterans memorial on the property to honor not only veterans but also first responders and fallen officers. We've talked about just different things focused around the sporting aspect of it. So when it comes to what does the community need as far as health and wellness, obviously the YMCA is one of those destinations that people go to, and the one in the city is landlocked and it's older. And we won't compete with them, but we would give the same opportunity to people on the west side of Ross County. So we're working with the YMCA, and if the YMCA is going to be a partner, then I would almost guarantee that there'll be a pool.
Okay.
So it's really who comes in and kind of.
How can people get involved? How can people get involved with the project? I mean, maybe there are connections in our community of grant funding, or, I mean, if someone really wants to be involved and do some footwork and some work in this, are they able to?
Well, what I would say, I mean, first of all, anything's open for opportunity. Obviously there are certain steps that we need to take, along the property development route. But once we get to how do we develop the program, all the opportunities are there. And, people email me or they direct message me on Facebook. Hey, Tori. But, and I respond, and I,
Okay.
right now I've kind of pushed some of these meetings out a little bit just so that we can, because right now we're still working on this master plan. Like, where does everything go and how much land does each piece require? And
so what we need to do is have you back on when the renderings are more updated.
Yes.
And the other thing we have to be considerate of is the fact that your main goal is to get the health facility and the surgery center and everything up and running by the end of 2024. And once that happens, it phases. Like, we got to be patient and go through the process.
Well, and so we're not doing any tax things, liens or stuff. The community's not going to pay for this. This is going to come from, there's a lot of grant money out there. The governor released $450 million for Appalachia, focus on projects that focus on job creation, healthcare, and infrastructure. And we meet all those boxes. So we're working with the county on how do we create this project to meet the goals of the grant, and how do we apply for the grant, and how do we maximize what Ross County can receive through the grant. So if that grant money comes in the same time we're putting up a healthcare facility, then we'll put up a sports complex. So it's really not.
Got it.
There's not a step. It can happen all simultaneously. It's really just getting all the funding in order.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. So the other thing is, and very quickly, but I want you to touch on this because I saw some things about the land. You've done everything in your power and lawfully to make sure that this land that has been purchased to put your facility on is good to go. Explain that to me.
So first of all, this is a team effort, and I am just one person of the team, and I'm really just the visionary. Okay. So I have a real estate attorney who is masterful on entitlement money. So what money's out there that's available for projects like this.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also very familiar with all the rules and regulations. So we work with a civil engineer that employs archaeologists on there, which is one of the only civil engineer companies in the state that have archaeologists on their staff. And as an initial evaluation, and this goes back to October of last year, they worked with the SHPO, which is the State Historical Preservation Organization, and looked at the maps that they have available to see what is in the area and what's on the land. So we have done everything that we can. You can't go on somebody's property that you don't own and start digging it up. You have to. So that was what we could do. And like I said, this dates back to October of last year. So we did the appropriate steps.
All due diligence.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now we'll continue to follow the appropriate steps as we're supposed to, but it takes time. The next they'll do is the topographical mapping. So they'll basically map the property and what's in the underneath portion that they can see with the equipment they have. And then, we'll go from there. I mean,
And I know, and I get that, and I know how you are, so it's easy for me to understand that. I know everything will be done exactly the way it should be.
Yeah.
So no worries there for me. But I wanted you to publicly say this so everyone else feels good about it as well.
At the end of the day, I don't want anybody to be concerned about, we're going to do what's right. But you can't do what's right until you know what's there.
That's right. That's right. I so appreciate you being on the show, Brian, and I know you're a busy person. And I want to show another video real fast.
Hey, Brian, I've known you for over 20 years. I consider you one of my best friends. I appreciate your work ethic. You're a great family man, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And I kind of put this on to remind us of the old workout days, 4 o'clock in the morning. Good luck, Brian.
I laughed like that shirt has seen better days. We couldn't even see your face. It was his face on the front of it. And on the back, for those of you who don't know, it was like this man worked out every single day for 800 days. So we called it the 800 Club. Well, he kept going and he kept going. And we're like, we don't have enough ink. So we kept crossing stuff out, adding 1,000 days. Now think about this. Who can say they've worked? I mean, I work out 3 or 4 times a week and I feel like I am a badass. And it's like every day for like all these days, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words that you'd like to tell our community and our listeners right now?
I mean, first of all, thank you. I mean, thank you for the show and Lynn for doing what she does, but thank you to the community. I mean, you welcomed me in, you took me in, you let me stay, let me set up shop. And I mean, like I said, I couldn't be more blessed. And, when I started looking for jobs, I was looking in New York, I was looking in Chicago, and I can honestly say that if I could do it over again, I'd do exactly the same. It's all been a positive experience, not only for myself, but for my family, and my friends that I've made for life. So
that's right. Well, to round this out and to end the night for everyone's enjoyment, because this is as sweet as can be. David thought I was going to save him for last, but the best is really saved for last.
Daddy, we're so proud of you. We love you.
So with that, Dr. Cohen, thank you for your service. Thank you for your commitment. We love you so much. And we will have him back on to give us more news, because who knows what else is going to be on that campus. So we got to have him back when things change and mold, and we'll keep you all updated.
Yeah. Thank you. Very exciting.
You. I love you. Bye. See you all next. Hey, everybody.
That floats around me, keeping me